Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Amir Hakimi and I am from Diploma in Management.
My name is Muhammad Afif Osman and I'm from Diploma in Management.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Rimam. I'm from Diploma in Management. So, for introduction, as a country with a constitutional monarchy, it is therefore located by the Constitution, the institution of His Majesty the King as the paramount ruler. The hereditary rulers of the 9 states and the Council of Malay rules, His Majesty the King has the power to safeguard the custom and tradition of the Malay people and the administration of the Islamic religion in each state. His Majesty the King is the head of the Islamic religion of the states of Penang, Sabah, Sarawak and the Federal Territories. His Majesty the King is the highest commander of the armed force. His Majesty the King carries out his duties under the Constitution under the advice of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. The conference has the great constitutional role of electing the Yang di-Pertuan Agong and the Timbalan Yang di-Pertuan Agong. It has the dramatic power to dismiss the king. The king or a ruler is to be tried in a court under Article 182. The conference has the authority to appoint 2 out of the 5 judges on the special court. If the king or a sultan or the consort of the king or sultan is found guilty in a court, the conference has the power to grant a pardon, reprieve, respite, remission, suspension or commutation of the sentence.
Okay, next is the objective. So basically the objective of this assignment is to basically learn about the rulers of Malaysia. And aside from that, this assignment also helps us to gain more knowledge about the rulers and kings of Malaysia. We also learn about something which is functions and roles of the Malay rulers, the Conference of Rulers, and the Yang di-Pertuan Agong. So basically, we get to know more about the rulers and kings better than before. We have the right information to share with people and who didn't know much about it to some extent. We are also given a task which we have to create a video documentary about the particular topic. Throughout the video, we are able to share the information to people who didn't know much about the Malay rulers and the kings. And lastly, we learn about a good communication in order to avoid misunderstanding or mispronouncing some words during the video presentation, which basically to pronounce some words and pronounce the names of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong or the Malay rulers and also the conference of the rulers. So next is for the content, background of Malay rulers. History rulers began with the establishment of the Council of Malay Rulers for the Federated Malay State on July 1, 1896. Federated Malay States comprising Perak, Selangor, Negeri Sembilan and Pahang was established. Accordingly, the Council of Malay Rulers for the Federated Malay States was established to discuss the affairs and interests along with the UK government. First meeting of the Conference of Rulers Federated Malay States, better known as Durbar, meeting was held on 13 to 17 July 1897 at the Palace of Alexandria, Bukit Sandan, Kuala Kangsar, Perak. So basically, Durbar is an original word from Urdu, and it is actually durbur. I'm not mistaken, and they changed it to Durbar. Okay. So this particular conference that was held for the first time was attended by some of the Malay rulers, and the English were also represented by some of their highest ranking people that were living in Malaysia. When the Federation of Malaya was formed in 1948, membership increased with the inclusion of the Federated Malay State, not the state of Johor, Kedah, Perlis, Kelantan and Terengganu. His name has also been shortened to the Council of Kings. The first meeting of the Conference of Rulers after independence was held on 30 and 31st October 1957 and was chaired by EYMM Sultan Syed Putra Ibni Almarhum Syed Hassan Jamalullah, King of Perlis. The 125th Conference of Rulers meeting was held on 15 to 16 October 2008 in Terengganu. The second part, B, rules or function of Malay rulers. So the number one is electing the Yang di-Pertuan Agong and Deputy Yang di-Pertuan Agong, which imbalan Yang di-Pertuan Agong. Number two is agree and disagree so that any act, practice or religious ceremony covers the whole of the federation. And number three, appoint members of the special court. Number four, grant forgiveness, postponing punishment and to pardon or squeeze, hang or relieve the punishment towards a person. And lastly, number five, appoint a representative to be a member of the Armed Forces Council and a member of the Board of Governors of the Language and Library Hall. Okay. Proceed to C.
So the point C is the roles function of the Conference of Rulers. The Conference of Rulers also concerned of rulers of Durbar. In Malaysia is concerned comprising the 9 rulers of the Malay state and the governors or Yang di-Pertuan Negeri of the others 4 states. Durbar in Malay is Majlis Raja-Raja. It was officially established by Article 38 of the Constitution of Malaysia and is the only such institution in the world according to the Malaysian National Library. Its main responsibility is the election of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, also as a king, and their deputy the Timbalan Yang di-Pertuan Agong, which occurs every 5 years or when the position falls vacant either through death, resignation or removal from office. Although its position in the process elective monarchy is unique, the Conference of Rulers also plays a role in amending the Constitution of Malaysia and some other policies, in particular those articles which have been namely those pertaining to the status of the rulers, the special privilege of the indigenous Bumiputra, see Article 153 of the Constitution of Malaysia, the status of the Malay language as the national language, and the clause governing the estrangement of the such article. So next.
Okay, next, D.
Okay, point D. The roles of Yang di-Pertuan Agong, YDPA. Number one, Yang di-Pertuan Agong is the supreme head of state in Malaysia. Number 2, advice of the Parliament and the Prime Minister. Number 3, has the power to resolve the Parliament. Number 4, highest commander of armed force in the country. Number 5, Yang di-Pertuan Agong is the head of religion. Number 6, preserve and maintain the position and privilege of the Malays and Bumiputra. Number 7, Islamic religious leaders for the country and states do not have a sultan. Number 8, appointing the chairman and 3 SPR members, members of judiciary service, the chairman and the deputy chairman of the SPA. Number 9, appoints the attorney general, eh, appoints the attorney general, the chief audit country and accredit ambassadors of country.
Okay, last is the conclusion.
For the conclusion, the removal of the ruler's immunity was a significant constitution or development in Malaysia. The move of the executive to rein in the influence and alleged excess of the rulers was brought about with apparent public support that is perhaps somewhat surprising given the historical reverence to the Malay rulers and their importance as a symbol of Malay unity. The government demonstrated a willingness to crack down of influence and extravagance, and a step they would have been unwilling to take if it meant the loss of the precious support of the Malays. Their ability to take the steps they did suggest a continuing change in cultural attitude of the Malay rulers. The reduced degree of unquestioning reverence for the Malay rulers and their symbolic significance appears to be more substantial than it was in 1983, given the relatively limited success of government in 1983 compared to 1993. The Malay rulers has been exerting considerable influence in Malay society and politics in spite of the constitutional limits of their power. However, the event of 1993 appeared to have irrevocably reduced the significance of the Malay rulers in Malay society and in the politics of Malaysia.
Okay, so that's all from us. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you very much.